Someone tell me, how does Vegas work? RamView.
Let's blow it off the last screen. Hold on, okay.
Live from the RamCave, I'm Joe Terosian, and this is RamView, the March 19th, 2025 edition, brought to you by Kistler Law Firm. Injured in an auto accident? Need help? Got questions? Call Kistler Law at 661-206-6990. That's Kistler Law at 661-206-6990. And check out KistlerLawFirm.com. Kistler Law, they've been fighting for you since 92. And by Temple City Auto Repair. Having some auto issues? Get yourself some John and Henry at TempleCityAutoRepair.com. All right. Now, I'm asking about Vegas, not because I'm going to Vegas anytime soon, and not because I want to learn how to bet, because I don't know how to bet, even after all these years doing sports. I mean, I've been paid to talk about sports and write about sports for years, but I don't know how to read a line. I don't. And I can't say it's all because of my background and my day job. It's just, it was something I never got into. I didn't have the scratch to mess around with it. But I'm always amazed, though, is that, you know, a lot of us through the years, many people, I've been part of that crowd too, they swear by Vegas. Hey, Vegas is saying. And I had two different sources today show me that Vegas is projecting the 49ers over the Rams in the NFC West this year. Now, if the Rams have an epic collapse, if there's a repeat of the 2022 offensive line chainsaw massacre, yeah, anything's possible, right? But how would you project in any rational world the 49ers being favorites to win the NFC West? And this goes back to 2023 when they said the Rams were going to win 4 games. Right? I think they said they had the projection for the Rams at 4.5 games. And just little old us here in the RamCave, we were telling everybody, hey, no, this is a team that could win 8, low end 7, high end 10. And they ended up winning 10 games. And so you can see it if you study it. And I got to believe Vegas studies it. So what I'm wondering about is the stuff that the Vegas shops put out. Is that kind of like what sports writers do when they know, you know, this is a stupid question, but it'll get me a lot of hits. We all know the answer to it, so I'll just put it out there. Does Vegas operate that way, to where they just put out a crazy line or a crazy idea just to draw people in, you know, like what would they say, a tasty bet or something? Is that how they operate? That was really striking me funny today, because it wasn't 1, it was 2, where I heard that the odds makers in Vegas were taking the 49ers over the Rams. And I got to believe that was a strategy, right? Not an ignorance. It's got to be a strategy. They're the ones with all the money. There you go. Okay, good news. Rams have re-signed Ahkello Witherspoon to a 1-year deal. Fantastic signing. Great. No, does it solidify the room? No. But what it does is it add depth. If the Rams had to start playing football games tomorrow, right, you'd be going with Ahkello Witherspoon, Kobe Durant, and Darius Williams as your front 3, and then finding out what you have in Emmanuel Forbes, finding out how far back, how much Darian Kendrick has left, or if he's recovered from his knee injury. That's before anything else, right? That's before going to the draft. That's before signing another free agent. That's a room you can do battle with. That's a room the Rams went to the second round or the division round of the playoffs in. That's the cornerback room that the Rams actually were 14 yards and 1 touchdown away from literally going to a Super Bowl, right? So we could live with that. And now the options are there for other things to occur. So again, someone was upset. It was just a commentator on one of the X accounts that I saw, and it wasn't a bad thing. It's just they were upset. You don't want to pay him too much. It's like, I think the Rams know. I think the market dictates. No one wants to give Ahkello Witherspoon anything longer than a 1-year deal. He was out there. He's competent, but he's not a full season guy. But in a rotation with Darius Williams, Kobe Durant, maybe Emmanuel Forbes, maybe a new guy coming in through the draft, then, you know, and also Josh Wallace is on this team, then it makes sense to sign Ahkello Witherspoon for a year. He is an experienced veteran, and he wants to be here, right? So great move all around. And that's what this room looks like now. Akilla Witherspoon, Kobe Durant, Darius Williams, Darian Kendrick, and Emmanuel Forbes, with Josh Wallace, an undrafted free agent who made the active roster last year. Charles Woods, who did the same, was cut, now on the practice squad. And then we talked about the perennial Sean Jolly, AJ Green, and Cam Lampkin, who was a Washington State alum that I think the Rams have some hopes for. Still on the market, Rasul Douglas, Asante Samuel Jr. I think the Rams are going to address this need in the draft. If you read Ram Notes, it's on Mid-Valley Sports right now. I probably should have locked it into the comment box. Tim Burns did a breakdown of if the Rams stay at number 26, who should they draft? And one of those guys was Jahadi Barron, the corner from Texas. If he's there, you take him. I saw a Daniel Jeremiah mock draft that had the Rams taking Trey Amos, the cornerback from Ole Miss. And I think, we've seen Azare Thomas from Florida State. I think in Mel Kiper's latest mock draft has the Rams taking him. And the Rams have interviewed, I believe they have interviewed Maxwell Harrison, Kentucky, and either Darian Porter or Dorian Strong, one of those guys, with the guy from Iowa State or the guy from Va Tech. So I think the Rams are going to address this need and add more depth in through the draft right now. I wouldn't suspect that Rasul Douglas or Asante Samuel Jr. are in the mix anymore, or even if they were at this point. The Rams found their next Christian Roseboom in Nate Landman a couple days ago, right after we went off the air, I think it was Tuesday morning. The former Falcon linebacker is 26. He's played 36 NFL games, 23 starts, came into the league in 2022 as, guess what, an undrafted free agent. That's the only way you make it into that Rams linebacker room. He runs a 4.840 or ran a 4.840, and he goes about 6'3", 235, 240. If you want to look at his PFF grades, he grades well, if you trust those, and he grades best against the run. Not much of a coverage guy, but he's an upgrade probably from Roseboom athletically. And but he is like Christian Roseboom. He's a guy that came in as a UDFA, worked his way up the roster with the Falcons, had a little bit of a knee injury last year, was a free agent, and the Rams picked him up. So no harm, no foul with this signing. Again, does it mean the Rams won't go for a linebacker in the draft? Absolutely not. It doesn't. And we're seeing a lot of talk about Carson Schlesinger, Bassa from Oregon. We're seeing a lot of names being Wes Schweisinger from UCLA, Bassa from Oregon. We're seeing Kaiser from Notre Dame. We're seeing a lot of other guys come up here. So the Rams could still draft a linebacker. It just adds another body to the room. Right now it's Omar Spates, Nate Landman, Elias Neal, and Tony Fields are the only linebackers currently on the roster. And they've interviewed a Danny Stutzman, I think, from Oklahoma. Teddy Buchanan from Cal has come up. And then, of course, there's Kaiser and Schweisinger. So, yeah, the Rams could make another move here. But, again, neither of these signings close the door on any options in the draft, right? But they are significant depth pieces, again, that if the Rams had to start the season tomorrow, they'd be ready. So, again, it enhances their ability to draft the best player available and be creative in this year's draft, which, we're suspecting, and some of the experts are saying, and a lot of people are projecting that it's not a deep draft and that teams might be loading up for next year. I got a mock draft from CBS Sports that I'm going to throw at you on the other side that shows some creative movement by the Rams. Maybe a little too expensive, but we'll see. And but I wanted to get that out there to you, that anything is available right now, and any possibility, any option is right there. And it's exciting because most of the needs have been met. All right, cool. Here we go. Got some questions here. Brian Smith. Hi, Joe T. All right, Brian, thank you for coming back. Be nice to Mr. Burns. Mr. Burns, be nice to Mr. Smith. The Niners have the 6th easiest schedule. Besides that, the prediction that the Niners win the division could change, especially if old man Trent Williams retires. Yeah, let me ask you, Brian, do you have faith in Christian McCaffrey I mean, I think you got 2 great years out of him. If you were with us last year at this time, we were saying that the idea of getting 3 healthy seasons out of McCaffrey seems like a long shot, right? And so you've got that on your plate. And then there's the whole idea of Ayuk. And I agree, those things change. So if you're a Vegas guy, is Vegas just dropping some honey trying to lure in some flies? That's what I'm curious about. Yeah, and Trent Williams, right? That guy goes and takes a big old payday, and then we don't know about him right now. A lot of interesting things. You got a lot of draft picks. It'll be interesting to see what's going on. Manny Correa saying, "What's up?" Let's see. Manny Correa, Rams are waiting for Cooper Kupp money to free up. There we go. But what are they going to do with that? You know, what's out there? Let's see. Manuel Correa, only pick at 26, Jahad Campbell. All right. Jahad Campbell. We'll talk about that. There you go. Manny, you hold that thought. Bill, I like Landman because he's young. He forced 6 fumbles over the last 3 years, and he's a good run defender. Yeah, there you go. I think so too. And I think so too. I think he's an upgrade on Roseboom, and I liked what Roseboom did last year. I wouldn't have been upset if Roseboom came back. I mean, we need more pieces in that linebacker room, but I think the Landman, it's a nice swing here. It's a nice swing. Brian Smith, addition by subtraction. Yeah, I think what you guys are doing, I mean, I'm not going to speak for John Lynch. I think you guys are doing a little bit of that post-2022 season the Rams had. Remember, they were gearing 2022 to run it back, and then the offensive line chainsaw massacre happened, and then the Rams just got out of the Bobby Wagner business, the Jalen Ramsey business, the Leonard Floyd business, and they're just kind of, cutting ties and just trying to look for an option to reload. And I get the feeling that's what's going on there. I would be hesitant to say the 49ers are in full rebuild. I'd be really hesitant to say that. But people are going to project that, I think, on them because they projected it on the Rams. And so while I think the 49ers are going to be good, I think the Rams obviously are going to win the division. Steve Ramirez, did you see the Lion playoff proposal where seeds would be based on record, not division winners? All 8 division winners would still get in. Thoughts? Not a fan. Steve, yeah, I got that. Can I address that in a little bit here, Steve? I got one more Ram thought I want to get to. And I did see that. I really did. Yay. Let's see. Manny Correa, Nate was a beast at Colorado. Okay. Manny, I hear slippery. Oh, Brian Smith. Slippery Rocks Waterboy is amazing. Should Les take him in the 7th? Okay. Brian Smith stirring the water. Tim Burns, nice to see Witherspoon again. He was in on 44% of the plays, and he had the first half of the season off, right? So let's keep it that way. Bill Landman, being a former rugby player, helps with his tackling. Yeah, he's from Zimbabwe, what the country formerly known as Rhodesia, and he was naturalized as a citizen in college. So yeah, he's got that physical aspect to him. Bill, the more players we sign or re-sign, hopefully means more flexibility in the draft, adding talent. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I totally agree. And I think we're all there. Brian Smith, laugh my butt off. I'm not sure which one that's for. Maybe that's for me. Bill, I think the next move has to be at tight end. We're going to find out, right? We're going to find out. USA Expat, from last year's draft room, the Rams will prioritizing A, Donald, North Star in town. I'm sorry, man. I'm losing you on that one, USA Expat. From last year's draft room, the Rams won't prioritize Aaron Donald, North Star, intangible talent. Okay, I'll let you explain that one to me. Brian Smith, negative on McCaffrey. He's toast. Just had an Achilles. Oh, another one? Another one, Bill? I did not see that. Tim Burns, nice to see troublesome wide receivers, quarterbacks, running backs leaving the NFC West. San Francisco gave away running backups. Oh, man. Brian Smith, Rams fan here, Joe T. Oh, I thought you were a 49er fan, man. Sorry about that. Maybe because you live up there, you worded something. Sorry to put that on you. I beg your forgiveness for that, man. I didn't mean to slam you with that because I don't want to label somebody a 49ers fan. Okay, real quick here, my last Ram thought before we get to some of the other stuff. As of right now, John Johnson, Joe Noteboom, Connor McDermott, and Troy Reeder are the free agents that are still out there that played for the Rams. 4 guys. This is my question, and I know I'm probably going to get a big old pushback here. If he was to come back on the barest of veteran minimum contracts for 1 year, would you let Joe Noteboom back in camp to compete for a job? Given that he does have experience, given that the Rams are probably out of the business of trying to make him something he's not, and maybe using him as a depth piece at guard. Would you be averse to that? I think we're all good if John Johnson came back. I don't think we care about Connor McDermott because he didn't take a snap last year. And I think we're hoping Troy Reeder will join the coaching staff. But Joe Noteboom, would you be against bringing him back on a 1 year, make good veterans minimum contract just because he does have experience? And, maybe this shock to the system, if it is indeed a shock, it's like, hey, you know what? If I want to keep playing football in the NFL, if I want to accrue more for my retirement, if I want to put off having to get up at 5 a.m. and getting a real job, maybe I can take a veterans minimum contract there. Something to throw out there. Okay, real quick here around the NFL and other places. Vikings signed Rondale Moore. Remember, he was with the Cardinals, 49th overall out of Purdue. Playmaker at Purdue. The expectation was he was going to be a playmaker for Kyler Murray, and it just never worked out. He got moved for Desmond Ridder to Atlanta last year, hurt his knee, never played. Vikings have signed Rondale Moore to find out if there's anything left in his game. Former Vikings center Garrett Bradbury, who's a little bit better than Coleman Shelton. He's just one of those guys. He's a good center, but he's not anything to write home about. He was let go by the Vikings. He was designated a post-June 1st cut. Not sure how this is working out, but I saw a report that he signed with the Patriots today. That's a good signing, another depth piece to keep people away from Drake May. And then the Chargers. The Chargers one was pretty cool. Chargers signed guard Mekhi Becton, the right guard for the Eagles last year. They signed him to a 2-year deal, and Becton's reversal is amazing. He's one of those things that, man, I wish that happened with the Rams, right? Total washout with the Jets as a tackle. Drafted high, total washout at left tackle after being taken in the first round in 2020. Last year, he goes to Philly. They turn him into a right guard, and his career just turns around. And he's a big dude, right? And in the process of playing the best season of his career and high-end, he played really well at guard. He nabbed a Super Bowl ring with the Eagles. I mean, you couldn't have asked for anything better if you're in the Mekhi Becton family, Mekhi Becton himself, or the Mekhi Becton fan club. So if he can repeat last season's performance at right guard with Zion Johnson at left guard, if the Chargers don't look to do something there, and then Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt holding the tackle spots, whoa, they got to get some help there at center. Is it Bradley Bozeman? But New Bolt's running back, Najee Harris, will be living large because those guys can plow the road, unlike his Steeler offensive line the last few years. Najee Harris is going to be living large, and guess who else is? Justin Herbert. So it seems like, apparently, on the page, Harbaugh has solved his running back issue and his offensive line issues, so it frees him up to go after some talent at receiver and tight end to give that dude, Justin Herbert, some options throwing the ball. So, yeah, pretty exciting there what's going on with the Chargers, and I'm not a Charger fan. All right, question came up because Steve brought it up. March 30th, the league rules are coming in, and, they're going to have league meetings, and that's when they change all the rules. Was the Packers suggested getting rid of the tush push, and then the Lions made a proposal about allowing wild card teams to have home games and getting rid of division winners. And I'll tell you right now, I think it's stupid. I think getting rid of the wild card teams is stupid in terms of getting rid of the division winners. You need the divisions. The divisions create what little consistent rivalry you have in the NFL. Random scheduling, you don't get that. You don't get that. If you were watching, football, man, early 70s, I got to that party late. You saw it in 81, 49ers, Cowboys. That was a legitimate rivalry in the playoffs. Steelers, Raiders was a legitimate rivalry in the playoffs. And anytime they would see each other after that in the regular season, every 4 years or so, it didn't feel this. You didn't feel it. But you see the Steelers and the Ravens on a cold Sunday night in Baltimore, and you got Troy Polamalu for Pittsburgh, and you got Ed Reed for the Ravens. Man, that was destination football, man. That was like, I'm watching that. Those teams hate each other. I want to see, the Cowboys and Eagles when the Cowboys are competitive. I want to see anything in that NFC East when they're competitive. Rams 49ers has turned into a great rivalry. We got rid of the riffraff of Atlanta and New Orleans playing games and thinking, that stupid, I guess it was Roselle, putting the Falcons and Saints in the NFC West. But we love those games because we get them twice a year. They're rivalry games, Taxkins, Cowboys. And on top of that, winning the division means something. You look at this NFC North division this year. Bears are improved. Vikings figure to be improved. Packers seem to be good. And, of course, you got the Lions. A team winning that division could probably end up with 11 wins or 10 wins because they're going to beat each other up. It's the old black and blue, right? And they're going to deliver a lot of black and a lot of blue. And then a team in the NFC South, let's just say Tampa Bay is the division winner, but Atlanta's not bad. Let's say Atlanta gets fat with its schedule, its regular schedule, and then it gets 4 fat wins against Carolina and who's the other team out there? Carolina and the Saints, right? They get 4 free wins there. They play a middling schedule, and then they pick off 11 wins. Really? Are the Falcons going to be really a better team? Are they going to be a better team than at 11 wins or 12 wins than maybe a 10-win team out of the NFC North? No. And this isn't the NBA. It's ridiculous. And so, yeah, bad move by Brad Holmes. If that was a Brad Holmes suggestion to the Ford family and Wayne Campbell, if that was Dan Campbell, if that was it, that's a bad move. That's the first bad move he's made. And then regarding the tush push, my feeling is stop it. You got to find a way to stop it. And again, my feeling is you let the players settle it. That stupid decision that says, hey, we're going to give them a touchdown if you keep doing this. Keep plowing into the center. That's all I would do, right? Remember we used to play ball in the park and say, can the center, right? Smash the guy. Make it real physical. Let the players settle that. Let the players settle that, hey, if you're going to throw it at my guy, I'm throwing it at your guy like they do in baseball. Just say, okay, you're going to line up in that tush push. You know what? I'll give you the first down, but I'm going to hurt your center. I'm going to jump the snap every time, and I'm not going to jump over the line. I'm going to barrel into him so often that dude's not going to want anymore. Sorry, that's the game. I wouldn't get rid of the tush, but I would settle it on the field and make it so, you know what, you don't want to run this because it's going to put other people at risk. Hockey settles the stuff between their fighters on the ice, so everything gets out of the way. Baseball has that unwritten code. Not all the unwritten code's great, but in football, maybe you need to do that because, stop it. Find a way to stop it. Make the other team pay. You want that inch? You want that 2 yards? You want that touchdown? All right, it's going to hurt. It's going to really hurt, and that hurt is going to make you not want to do it late in the fourth quarter. Okay, now everyone can tell me what a bad, mean guy I am, and you say, I can't believe you're a pastor. There you go. Okay, let's see. We got some more questions come in here. Brian Smith, forgive me. Thank you. Yes, Joe T, on McCaffrey's injury. Okay, wow, that's brutal. Wow, that is brutal. Let's see. Manny Vasquez, a couple of sites are linking Asante Samuel Jr. going to the Rams. What do you think about that? Him and Witherspoon could split the time, keep them both fresh. You know what? Again, I think I say this every week, every show. We have to trust McSneed. I'm not against it. My feeling would be if they did that, then they think there's something salvageable in Emmanuel Forbes. Because I think you should take a corner. If the Rams hold on to their picks and either get more picks or trade back, the Rams need to draft a corner this year. I think they should, because we can go another year here and we could lose Darian Kendrick as a free agent. Kobe Durant's going to be a free agent. Akilla Witherspoon's on a 1-year contract, and Darius Williams has 1 year left. So I think you got to draft a corner. You have to. You just have to draft a corner. And if they don't, that would tell me that, okay, they're going to bring in Asante Samuel. All right. The longer he's out there, the cheaper he gets. and that you think Emmanuel Forbes is salvageable. That's my thinking. I've been on Emmanuel Forbes since January. Let's see. Paul Richardson. All right, man. Thanks for joining us, Paul. On the cheap, yes, Joe Noteboom for sure. Okay, I'm not taking the heat I thought I would take. He can play multiple positions. Steve Ramirez, one rock on Noteboom. Okay, man, I thought you guys were going to come after me. Tim Burns, depth at O-line is a good thing. We should have learned our lesson. All right, wow. Mike Reber says hello to everybody. Thanks, Mark, for clicking on. Manuel Vasquez, on a vet minimum is the only way I take Noteboom back. I agree. He's got no market right now, right? No one's talking to Joe Noteboom as far as we know. Manny Vasquez. Tim Burns. Sup, Mark? Okay. Brian Smith. I'd be okay with Noteboom or for rookie minimum, not a vet minimum. Is that possible? Isn't there a minimum you have to pay a vet? You tell me. I don't know. That's an impossible scenario. Therefore, let him walk. Okay. Now I get it. All right. Mark Reber, chilling like a villain. Ha. Becton did have a good year, but playing in between Johnson and Juergens helped a lot. Yes, that's true. I'm not gonna argue that. Tim Burns, Asante is an interesting idea. I am up for Jahande Barron from Texas at 26 if we don't go free agent at DB. Mark Reiber, Rams number 2 according to Eisen. Is that Rich Eisen? Okay. Is that Rams number 2 in the NFC or number 2 in the West? That's what I'm curious about. If they're number 2 in the NFC, I'll say okay, because you got to give Philly the benefit of the doubt. Tim Burns, Pastor Meaning. Paul Richardson, love your take on the tush push. Hope I see teams do that. Okay. Okay. Mark Reber, overall, that's where Eisen has the Rams. Okay, cool. And guys, you don't like the wild card idea that the Lions proposed, right? I think we're all out on that. Let me know. Drop some names in there. Drop some thoughts in there. I'm Joe Terosian as a sports writer for 21 years, and I still am back at Mid-Valley Sports doing content on general sports stuff like football and everything. And we got Tim Burns contributing Ram Notes after the show. If you want to click on over there, check out Ram Notes by Tim Burns, midvalleysports.com, and you can check that out there and his thoughts on what the Rams might find at number 26. It's a fun read. This show is also on from the RamCave on Spotify. It's called From the RamCave. No traction at all. None. Zip. I don't know what I have to do on Spotify. Do I offer my dog as a sacrifice on some altar, the Spotify offer? Someone give me some ideas to get some traction on Spotify. Also, I do this thanks to our sponsors at Kistler Law. Great people, awesome people. Saved my bacon. I can tell you, you got an auto question about an accident or an injury, check out Kistler Law. Also, if you're local enough, check out Temple City Auto. I just made a deal with them. I'm getting a great deal on some tires. And I do that because my day job is I pastor a small church in Burbank Faith Nazarene. You can find us right here on YouTube at burbankfaithvirtual.com and Burbank Faith Virtual all across social media. I also sell books, and my books are moving a little bit thanks to you guys. Can you encourage me with purchasing a couple of my books? They're not long reads. Look at that football book. That's not a long read. And it's called Temple City, Company of the Ages. And then some other books as well. I've written 3 football novels, 2 high school, 1 pro. The latest one came out in September. Game Day in the RamCave, fictional NFC Championship game between the Rams and the Packers at SoFi. Got some good bounce back on that, feedback on that. Please check it out because we don't have a paywall and we do not have a Patreon account. So you help the kid out here every time you buy a book. And then if you buy a book, take a picture of yourself with it and treat me right. There you go. Okay, let's look at the mock draft here. This mock draft thing was really interesting. So it was probably the CBS Sports mock draft that I just saw today. Probably maybe not. I'm not saying it's going to happen exactly this way, but I felt like the guy who did it or whatever team did it felt like they really got inside Nick Snead's head a little bit here. All right. Let's just look what they did at first. It was kind of creative, kind of crazy. Armand Membu, who is the tackle from Missouri, who projects as a right tackle in the NFL, who when the draft process first started was projected to the Rams at 26, has climbed the ladder. They have Armand Membu going from Missouri, going number 3 overall to the Giants. I guess if they get Travis or Aaron Rodgers, they got the left tackle Thomas and then Membu at right tackle. Travis Hunter falling to 4 to the Patriots. Shedeur Sanders falling to 7 to the Jets. Tatario McMillan, the Arizona guy who has been everywhere from top 3 to back of the first round. They got him going to the 49ers at 11. I think that's a good pick for the 49ers. Him and DeJuan Jennings and get out of that Brandon Ayuk business. Also, speaking of receivers, Tim Burns' favorite, some favorite that the Ram fans are looking at, Matthew Golden out of Texas going 18 to the Seahawks. Imanawari, the South Carolina safety, heavy guy, going to the Buccaneers. The safety, the cornerback, Johnny Barron from Texas going to the Steelers. Colston Loveland going to the Chargers. And then this is where it gets really interesting. CBS had the Rams trading back to number 35 with Tennessee. They've got Tennessee's 35th pick this year and second round pick in 2026. All right, so the Rams are going to move back to 35. So I'm working my way through this 3-round mock draft, get to 35, and notice the Rams are already traded. And I'm trying to figure out where they traded, and I missed it, is that the guy who put this draft together had the Rams trading back up from 35 and giving up 35 this year, 90 and 101, the 90th pick and the 101st. So 3 picks, the 35th, the 90th, and the 101st, giving it up to Baltimore so they can move up to 27 and then take, who was the name? I think, was it Manny Correa threw at me? Jihad Campbell, linebacker, Alabama, at number 27 overall. Yeah. Now, I don't know if I'd have given up all of that. Maybe I would. I don't know. But I thought that looked like a less need draft, right? It looked like a less need draft. And I thought that was really interesting that the Rams would move back to 35, move back up to 27, and take Jihad Campbell, linebacker, out of Alabama. And then on top of that, they got another second round pick for next year. Rams would be out of the first 3 rounds of the draft after that. And again, what are we thinking, or what was the conversation going on more and more is the football people don't think this is a deep draft and it's best to gear up for next year. Rams have a full complement of picks in 2026. That would give them another second rounder next year. And that first pick would be with the Titans. And if the Titans whiffed, that would be a really high second round pick. So pretty interesting stuff there. Curious to hear your thoughts. Okay, let's see. Steve Ramirez. Colin has the Rams number 2 in the NFL or the NFC. He has them number 2 in the NFL. That means he has them ahead of the Bills and everybody else. That's pretty interesting. Tim Burns, Vikings better hope JJ has improved accuracy and reads, or letting a 15-win quarterback go away. I think he's going to be fine. I guess we're going to find out. I think it was a really good move to kind of shut the door so everybody hears, you know what? Nah, we're not messing around with Aaron Rodgers, right? We're not going to mess around with Aaron Rodgers. That was a smart move. Is that who's the backup going to be? You have to say it. They're in the room. They're in the room with each other. I'm trying to remember, is it Kwafe? Is it Kwafe Osert? I'm trying to remember who's the GM in Minnesota. Him and Kevin O'Connell had a conversation. They made a move to draft him 10th overall last year. They believe in him. They're tying their ship to him. And so you got to give him the confidence. You got to let him play. You got to find out. So they're going to find out, right? I wouldn't have, we'll see with Sam Darnold. Put it this way. Sam Darnold, won 14 games last year? Rams didn't have a problem with him, and I'm so happy he's in Seattle. I mean, that's good news, right? That's really good news. Let's see here. Michael Negretti, hola, Pastor Joe. What do you think of the pickup of linebacker and Spoooon? I think they're great. I think, are great depth pieces, as we said at the top of the show. And Mr. Negretti, I love it. Doesn't preclude them from doing anything else in the draft, but it just adds depth to those spots, a little more security, a little more experience in the linebacker aspect of it. And I think with the age on Witherspoon, who's turning 30, Darius Williams, who's 32, they're both on 1-year deals. I think you got to have a lot of guys in that room. And I'll say it again, because you're going to want to unfriend me if it happens. If Emmanuel Forbes breaks out and has a shutdown, great first-round draft pick kind of year next year, I'm going to be miserable to live with, because I'm never going to let it go. I'll probably put it in the opening of the show, the guy who said believe in Emmanuel Forbes. So that's what I'm thinking. Let's see. Boom, 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 boom. Tim Burns, didn't you already off Fluffy a week ago? Come to think of it, your morning videos have don't have barking anymore. Shh, don't say anything. Neil Gonzalez, I'd offer Noteboom an opportunity to compete for a roster spot as a vet minimum. Good. All right, we're in the same boat. Steve Ramirez on the wild card proposal from the Lions. No on the proposal. Wild cards are in to make up for divisions not being equal, to prevent a 1967 scenario when the 11-1-2 Colts missed the playoffs. Hey, what were the Rams? What were the Rams in 68, Steve? Didn't the Rams win double digits in 68 and miss the playoffs too? In 68. This was the Colts in 67, but I think the same thing happened to the Rams in 68. Let's see. Steve Ramirez, I saw one mock where Campbell went top 15. Wow. Hey, I saw a mock where Jackson Dart was number 9 today overall. So yeah, these mocks are all over the yard, especially because I guess there's just no clear-cut talent. Let's see, Manny Vasquez, that would be a horrible trade if they gave up 3 picks to move down 8 spots, especially in that scenario. They only got 1 for moving 8 spots themselves that close together. I guess the payoff would be a second rounder in 2026. That's what I'm guessing. And, do the Rams, again, you look at numbers-wise, as far as roster spots, do they really need to add a lot? Remember going into 2023 season, the Rams did all that trading. I think they brought in like 30 first-year guys between undrafted free agents and the draft class going into the 2023 season. Well, a lot of those roster spots, I think, are full. That safety room, to me, maybe a complement of John Johnson. The cornerback room, a draft pick, okay. The wide receiver room, you could add 1 more guy there. But there's not a lot of big holes here. So maybe the Rams don't need to draft 8 players. Maybe they need to draft 5. I don't know. We'll see. Let's see. Tim Burns, by number of tackles, Landman is about 100 tackles a year. That is solid. Paul Kistler, I think we are going corner in the first, but I would be fine with a good wide receiver. I like both, right? My feeling is I want 2 things, right? I want a corner because look at it. If Kendrick comes back and plays, and Kobe Durant plays again this year, well, they're free agents in 2026, right? And then Witherspoon and Darius Williams, they're in the last year of their deals. Well, Witherspoon's a 1-year deal. And so you're going to need that extra person in the cornerback room unless, they have this belief in Emmanuel Forbes. And the other thing with the wide receivers, it's the same thing. Nakua, because of his style of play, is going to go down. And then, of course, Devontae Adams, it's a 2-year deal. Atwell, it's a 1-year deal. And we're going to find out about Whittington. So, yeah, and again, I guess Devontae Adams is the answer to making the offense more explosive that McVay was wanting. But it is an interesting dilemma. It is to see what they'll do. Are they going to get another piece? And this is a tight end draft. And if you're going to draft a tight end, this might be the draft to do one. Good call there, Mr. Kistler. Something to think about. Michael Negretti, no to the Lions proposal. If you can't win with the second best record on the road in the playoffs, what makes you think you're going to win at home? There you go. Willie Bowen, LA Rams need to draft a center and a cornerback. Oh, you want another center? No belief in Bo Limmer, Willie? You're out on Bo? No belief in Bo Limmer? There you go. All right. let's run down to on this date in Rams history.
It was a stone groove, my man.
As we come up to the 40-minute mark, I went 110 minutes. I went an hour and 10 on Monday. I got to keep this thing at around 50. March 19th, 1999, the world fell into despair because Steve Bono left the Rams and signed as a free agent with the Carolina Panthers. I like Steve Bono. We know who Steve Bono was, but on this date in 2019, the Rams signed Clay Matthews III, the former Packer, All-Pro, had a great run there in Green Bay. He was at the end of his line with the Rams. But in 2019, he had 8 sacks for the Rams. 8 sacks. That's not bad for a guy in his last season. And it was his last season because on March 19th, 2020, the Rams cut both Clay Matthews and Todd Gurley. Yeah, today is the anniversary of the Rams parting ways with Todd Gurley. And if I remember the room in those days, in that day, if I remember the feeling, if I remember the vibe of hearing from people, people were really upset. Gurley went to the Falcons in 2020, and that was it. Right? The Rams knew. And unfortunately, it was tragic, right? Guy had the knee injury, the knee condition, and it was too bad, right? It was just, what can you say? Okay, since we're not on the air tomorrow, March 20th, 1980, the Rams trade John Cappelletti to the Chargers. Now, this is fascinating. I brought this up last year. Cappelletti hurt his shoulder against the Cowboys in I think it was the NFC title game, or was it towards the end of the season? Separated his shoulder. Then he aggravated a growing injury, I think in 79. He doesn't play a snap for the Rams in 79, and that's when they make their run to the Super Bowl. Cullen Bryant gets established, and Wendell Tyler, right? And it's Cappelletti who? And so in 1980, the Rams traded John Cappelletti to the Chargers for a second-round pick. Second round, 49th overall, the same one the Cardinals used for Rondale Moore in 2021. Second round, 49th overall in 1982. Ultimately, that pick is dealt to the Redskins, and it becomes Redskin cornerback Vernon Dean. Vernon Dean gives the Redskins a couple of decent years, wins a Super Bowl there. And then in 1981, the Rams send number 69, Russ would turn into Russ Grimm, number 117, number 132, and number 181, and that 49th pick, which was Vernon Dean, to the 1982 Redskins during the draft for their first pick. And that first pick was number 14 overall. So for number 14 overall, the Rams gave up 49, which was Vernon Dean, 69, Russ Grimm, 117, and 132. And for the Redskins' first pick in the 82 draft. And that turned out to be Barry Redden. Now, Redden wasn't bad, but the very next year they drafted Eric Dickerson. So the interesting thing was, what could the Rams have done with that 49th pick in 1982 if they held on to it? Well, they could have taken Mark Duper at 52 or Steeler linebacker Mike Merriweather at number 70. There we go. Born tomorrow, on March 20th, 1960, was Mike Wilcher, linebacker at North Carolina. I remember people talking about him being Lawrence Taylor's teammate at North Carolina. He wasn't exactly Lawrence Taylor, though. And Mike Wilcher had a good run with the Rams. Outside linebacker was not bad. He turns 65 tomorrow. And then I got a question for you. Who's the Rams starting left guard in their Super Bowl year of 2021? I'll give you guys a minute. Who was the Rams starting left guard in 2021? Nobody remembers. It was a Wisconsin dude. Anyone remember David Edwards, who's gone on to have a pretty good career right now with Buffalo? But yeah, David Edwards was the left guard. The next year, he had in his free agent year, he had a head injury, got a concussion, and then the Rams let him walk at the end of the season, signed with Buffalo, and I think he just got a contract extension with the Bills. David Edwards turns 28 tomorrow, another Wisconsin guy. And the Rams, I think, got a compensatory pick for him. There we go. Let's see here. Let's keep moving. Steve Ramirez, yes, the Rams were 10-3-1 and missed the playoffs. They were 10-1-1 before being upset by the Bears and eliminated. Yes. I didn't see it, but I read about it. There you go. Manny and Michael, everyone's saying hi. Michael Negretti, Bo knows center. Brian Smith, Bo Humphrey, cheaper too. Okay. Bo, 39 bench reps at the combine. I like Bo. My only question is, did we see the best of Bo? Or is there more to go? Or is there more to Bo? That's what's going to be exciting to find out. He's wearing number 50. If you can get a Ken Iman career out of him, I'll be really happy. Manny Vasquez, if Gurley stays healthy, he probably rewrites a lot of records for the Rams and maybe even the league. Maybe, I don't know. But there was a stretch there, right? 2017 to the midway point of 2018. This guy's catching those passes in the flat and hurdling defenders. Yeah, there was that was pretty special few months there with 18 months there with Todd Gurley. Tim Burns, we know Limmer's limitations, but he has earned some trust that he will get even better. He had a solid season and deserves it. Yes. Mark Reber, Edwards, there you go. First time I ever agreed with Tim Burns. Okay, I'm glad Tim Burns, Brian Smith coming together. All right, we got some peace in our time. Let's see. Manuel Vasquez. I liked Edwards. He was an enforcer on that line. I like Logan Bruss being the exception. I like offensive linemen from Wisconsin. I like offensive linemen from the Big Ten, right? That's where I lean. Brian Smith, David Edwards. Dang. Okay. You guys are all getting along with each other. I'm so glad to provide a platform for you guys. Brian Smith, Bo performed beautifully for a rookie, especially a sixth rounder. Oh, man, there's Mr. Burns taking a shot. You must have had your meds adjusted, Brian. Congrats. Oh, Burnsy. Mark Reber, arthritic knee. It was. Yes, for Todd Gurley. Gurley, that is. Yes, we do know that. All right, let's see what else we got here. Okay, everyone is out on that proposal by the Lions. Any other thoughts on my solution to the tush push, or do you want to see the tush push go? I really don't want to see the tush push go. I want it solved. The same thing with baseball. When they came up with the shift, I want to see it solved. I want to see the hitters go the other way. I bunt or whatever. I don't want the rules to say you can't do this. Sorry. Yeah, that's just how I see it, right? Okay. Anyone else have anything out there? Because we're coming up to I want to get to 50 minutes, and then we'll break this sucker down. Looking at the teams out there, just looking at some of the key signings. Dallas is just so underwhelming. Dallas is so underwhelming that if I was looking at the NFC, and I'm not saying these are my final picks, if I was looking at the NFC East, I'm still going Eagles, although I think they've taken some hits. Are they going to strike gold again at right guard? Lane Johnson's getting a year older. It's going to be interesting. And, my season in terms of the Rams Eagles, I know we lost 2 games to them, but I will remember Jared Verse putting Jordan Mailata on his butt, pancaking him. So I think the Eagles might take a step back, but I think they win the East with the Taxkins. And I think there could be a revolt in Cowboy land. I'm going to go Giants third in that division. Saints, Buccaneers, Panthers, Falcons, Buccaneers all the way. They kept Godwin. They brought in Hassan Reddick. That team's pretty solid from everything on down. I'll take the Falcons second with Penix. I'll take the improved Panthers third, and I'll take the Saints fourth. I think they're in a total rebuild. That's where Aaron Rodgers should go. Tell him to go to the Saints. NFC West. NFC West. I am into Rams, of course. And then I'm going Cardinals. And then as it stands right now, I'm going to go Seahawks over the 49ers. That's where I'm at. NFC North, that one's going to be really interesting. I'm thinking Lions, Vikings, Packers, Bears. And I think the Bears could win 9 games, right? I think they could, and again, that whole business of Caleb Williams holding on to the ball too long. If they struggle with the offensive line they've built around him and there are no injuries, it is going to come back on him, and he's going to have to adjust his game. AFC East, Bills all the way. And then I'm going Patriots, Dolphins, Jets. That's where I'm going there. Patriots are going to be interesting. NFC West, I'm going to take I got to take the Chiefs. You got to take the Chiefs until you don't take the Chiefs. And then you take the Chargers, Broncos, and then the Raiders, although I think the Raiders have an opportunity to be better. NFC South, I'm going Texans. I heard they just signed Cam Robinson. That's interesting. They got rid of Laramie Tunsil, got a buttload of draft picks. So they're going to let Cam Robinson play left tackle, I think. And then they're going to go into the draft to try to solidify that line. Christian Kirk was signed. They made that trade for C.J. Gardner-Johnson. So I'm going Texans. I'm going Colts. No, actually, I'm going to go Titans. I am. I'm going to go Titans and Cam Ward. If Cam Ward goes there, I'm going Texans, Titans, Colts, and then Jaguars. And then in the AFC North, I'm going Ravens. Easy. I think this might be the easiest route for them. Ravens, Bengals, Steelers, Browns. Right? Ravens, Bengals, Steelers, Browns. I'm not impressed with the Bengals. I know they spent all that money. I'm impressed they spent money because they're the Bengals. They never spend money. But the truth is that this is the team they had last year. Who's the significant upgrade on defense? Everyone got paid. Everyone's happy. But what's the upgrade? And Joe Burrow had a healthy season. Is Joe Burrow going to have another healthy season? Just something to think about there. All right, we went over the 51-minute mark. Let's see if we got a couple of questions that came in. Willie Bowen, I still want the Rams to get a strong power fullback like Xander Horvath. Okay, if there's room for him, don't sleep on Cody Schrader. Let's see here. Brian Smith, Tim Burns writes well. Definitely. Okay, in California. Steve Ramirez, remember, no team has won the NFC back-to-back in 20 years. What do you think, Steve? You go Taxkin, Steve? You think they're ready? You think the Eagles are going to take that much of a tumble? It'll be interesting. It's funny, too. The Eagles never seem to put it together for 2 years in a row, right? There's usually a big climb and a big drop-off, and then they build their way back up. Interesting. I'd be curious if you think Taxkins. Brian Smith, no such thing as Willie, no such thing as fullbacks in the NFL. Neil Gonzalez, I'd go with tight end, corner, linebacker, and defensive line. I don't know if any decision is going to be the wrong decision. I just see a little bit of a problem in 2026 in the cornerback room, a little bit in the wide receiver room. If Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua stay healthy and have a great year, then there's no problem. But even if all the players that are here now have a great year, there could be a problem in the Rams cornerback room unless Emmanuel Forbes fulfills my prophecy for him. Tight end, it's going to be real interesting because I don't think the Rams are dumping Colby Parkinson. And if you're going to take a tight end, this is the draft to take one in. Mark Reber. Brian Smith. Yeah, Willie, you played fullback, didn't you? Willie says no tight end. Okay. Mark Reber, poor Josh Allen needs a Super Bowl. Josh needs a Super Bowl. I want him to have a Super Bowl. Brian Smith, remember when some Ram fans were mad because Benny Scow made the team over Lance McCutcheon? Yeah. Benny Scow just got, again, another contract with the Steelers, and Lance McCutcheon, what? Where? Right? He's doing the Travolta meme, right? It's like, huh? And I like Benny Scow. 7th round, 249 overall, 251 overall. Played significant snaps throughout the season, his rookie year. McVay liked him. He blocked. They put him at fullback for a while. That second year, they used him different ways. Got dealt to the Texans. Texans put him in the street. Steelers signed him, and now they're bringing him back. I like Benny Scow. If the room wasn't so deep, I could see Benny Scow making a return to the Rams as a special teamer. I do. I like Benny Scow. Lance works at Walmart now. Oh, there you go. Okay, Lance's brain says he's watching game film. Oh, man, Mr. Burns. There are still some fullbacks in the NFL, Brian. Xander Horvath. Brian Smith. Does Allen why does Allen need a Super Bowl? Are they handing them out now? I like Josh Allen. If the Rams can't get a Super Bowl, I want Josh Allen to get a Super Bowl. I want him to have that ring. I just do. It's like some people out there really love Lamar Jackson, and they, you just feel bad for the kid because I don't think he's going to get a ring. I don't think he's good enough. I think Josh Allen is better because he's a better passer, and he should get a ring. I want him to. I'd like to see Lamar Jackson get a ring. I'd like to see everyone get a ring, just not at the expense of the Rams, right? Just not at the expense of the Rams. Benny played special teams too. There we go. I just like him. Brian Smith, Mark, excellent reason. Okay. All right. I like him too. Okay, guys. I think we got it in. What a great audience, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Hey, if anyone's got any suggestions on how to build up your Spotify account, because I am like zip and zero. It's very discouraging. Let me know. There's my email in the box there. If you've got a mock draft you want to send, because it is going to be all mock draft season. We're going to be adding these bits and pieces in free agency going forward. Brian Smith, you are welcome. Thank you for joining us. And everyone else, man. All of you guys, Manny, Manuel, all you guys. Thank you for hanging out. Willie, Tim, Brian, Steve, USA Expat, Paul Richardson, all you guys, Paul Kistler, all you guys that are out there, Bill, Neil, looking at all my guys here. Thank you so much, Mark Reber. Thank you so much for clicking on. I do appreciate it because, you guys are the ones that make this fun. Okay, we are out. Be sure to hit like. Be sure to hit subscribe. Be sure to hit share. Yeah, that would help me a lot too. Let's hit share. I want to crush this off season because we really crushed it last off season. We built up we were at 150 when the season ended, and we jumped that much more when the season, by the time the season started. So we just want to improve on everything here and go forward. All right, guys. God bless. Take care. Thank you so much. Joe T is my generation. All right. Okay. All right, guys. Dodgers are 2-0. Yes, they are. Okay, guys. God bless. Take care. And we will see you on Friday. Be sure to check out Mid Valley Sports. Check out Mid Valley